So get out your cell phones, your mobile phones, take a picture of the person next to you, use that hashtag, say where you are, because we want not only people in New Zealand and around the world to know that people are opposing these secret negotiations and negotiations that are going to take away our sovereignty and our rights, and you'll be hearing speakers on that in just a few minutes. So the first speaker I want to introduce and talk to you is Graham East. Graham East is known to many of you in Wellington, I was from Wellington once, and many of you in Auckland as a former councillor on the Auckland City Council, now a board member for Albert Eden, and Graham has been working a huge amount of time on the TPPA issues. And just before he speaks about TPPA and local government, just breaking news from around the country that we now have 9 councils around the country who have passed resolutions with their concerns from about TPPA. So that's a great start. Unfortunately, I don't quite think we have our numbers here for our big council in the sky here, but Graham, welcome very much. We look forward to what you've got to say. Kia ora.
Trade agreement, like the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, they need to realise that the TPPA is deliberately designed to be far more than a mere trade treaty and includes numerous provisions that could ultimately affect almost every aspect of our daily lives. Indeed, one of the greatest criticisms of the TPPA is for the ways in which it can severely curtail and even subvert the powers and activities of democratically elected governments at both national and local levels. Some of us have been grappling over the past 2 decades to deal with previous attempts to foist similar rules on us. Remember the MAI, the Multilateral Agreement on Investments? That one was actually withdrawn in 1998 in the face of strong opposition from civil society groups here and around the world. It was soon replaced by the GATS, General Agreement on Trade and Services, and in the last few years we've learned to know about TPPA. One common thread through all of these so-called free trade agreements is the attempt to embed investor-state rules which tend to replace the authority of national legislation and judiciary with that of disputes panels that hold secret meetings. And this tendency indirectly extends to the function of local councils. Apologists for the TPPA airily dismiss such criticisms as some sort of alarmist theorising, but it is not. We can see exactly how these investor-state rules have worked in practice to the detriment of local communities by learning from the all-too-real experience of NAFTA, the North America Free Trade Agreement, which has bound Canada, Mexico and the USA since 1994, and on which the TPPA is based. I'll just give you one classic case, one of the more famous ones, Metal-Clad Industries versus Mexico. Following complaints about the health effects from residents of Guadalcazar City, local officials forced Metal-Clad to cease operations at its landfill because it was contained 20,000 tonnes of improperly dumped hazardous waste close by the town water supply. In 1997, the company sued the Mexican government. You can't sue the local council, you have to sue the government. Okay, and for damages under Chapter 11 of NAFTA for $90 million. At a closed hearing held in another country, in Canada, an arbitration panel awarded them $16.7 million. Even though this amount was later reduced, it is outrageous that local government can be monstered like this for carrying out one of their most important roles, ensuring that citizens have safe drinking water. There are numerous other cases where multinationals, mainly American, have sued for damages under NAFTA because local rules or regulations were claimed to affect the profitability of their operations. Although comparatively few have been ultimately successful, fear of being sued has had a so-called chilling effect on authorities attempting to regulate or control the activities of multinationals. For this reason, NAFTA is widely feared and loathed in Mexico and Canada, just Google it, but also in some communities within the USA itself, where opposition to it has actually become an election issue. Although quite a few in New Zealand local government circles still do not understand how they and their organisations are threatened by TPPA, there are many others that do. Councils from throughout the country have now passed resolutions seeking an opportunity for an informed public debate about the draft TPPA. For example, in 2002, Auckland Council voted, and I quote, to encourage the government to conclude negotiations on the Trans-Pacific Partnership and Free Trade Agreements in a way that provides net positive benefits from Auckland and New Zealand. I went on, there's a whole page of stuff here, I'll just quote the last bit, that the TPPA would only be acceptable if it has been negotiated with real public consultation, including regular public releases of drafts of the texts of the agreement, and ratification being conditional on a full social, environmental and economic impact assessment, including public submissions. Thank you.